Greetings everybody and welcome to a new video. My name is Foucault and today we're doing a little bit of arts and crafts. No gameplay today. I will do another Monster Hunter video soon, but for now we're doing arts and crafts. So I didn't upload that much in the last few weeks. That's because I am doing a lot of this stuff recently. For the people that don't know me, I am doing a lot of Pokemon card collecting. I'm really huge into this hobby since I was a little kid, and I am buying a lot of booster packs because I like gambling. Advertised to children. Anyways, it's inevitable to get a lot of trash cards that end up being like in your closet and never be looked again. So might as well do something with these common cards that have no other use. And that's what we are doing today. We are doing 3D Pokemon designs. And just so you guys know, I have just started this hobby. I have seen people do this stuff and I was immediately entranced by the amazing designs that people actually made by themselves with these leftover cards that they had. So this is my best design that I have made so far. Nothing really special. It's a 3D Trapinch design. I'm really proud of it. I think it came out amazing. But you see there are a lot of like pressure points where I slipped, so it's not perfect. But it's nice for what it is. So if you want to make something like this, I am helping you to get started. So first of all, what do you need? Most importantly, you need Pokemon cards, of course. Between 4 and 8 of the same card that you want to make a 3D design of. Between 4 and 8. So it's dependent on how detailed you actually want the card to be. Secondly, you need a lot of these. A bunch of these. Cards that you have no use for. Like you can do absolutely nothing with them. And you will have to cut out the middle part, the picture of the card, and then paint the outside of the card black. What are these cards for exactly? These are the between layers that actually give the card the 3D look. So basically you have like a card that is not being worked on yet, and you put these ones on top, and then eventually you stack them on top of each other for more and more of a 3D effect. So you need a bunch of these. You need the monster card that you actually want to make 3D, and you need these between layer cards, these trash cards that you prepare before actually starting with the card. Next, you need, of course, a knife, an X-Acto knife. You shouldn't get the cheapest out of them all. You should probably get something that's at least semi high quality, because there are worlds between the blades of these things if you buy them on Amazon and stuff. Never buy one of these $3 or €3 knives. Just get one that's like 15 bucks or something, and maybe get some that gives you a lot of different blades that you can choose from. I really like this very small knife. Sorry, by the way, for the camera, it doesn't really want to focus. So yeah, I like this one. You can buy this exact knife on Amazon, by the way. It was like 12 or 13 bucks, I believe. Next, a good glue. So I have chosen a glue that is dries very quickly, because you don't want the cards to absorb too much fluid. If they do that, they get a lot of spots that you can see. They ruin the card design. So you want a glue that is high quality and it dries very quickly. So I use this one. A bunch of these, of course. You actually draw on the card. Paintbrush was the name. Sorry. I'm also having a permanent marker, because usually you use acrylic color, which is the next thing that I wanted to do show you. You need black acrylic color. But for some points, when you have to like even out like tiny mistakes on the card that you did, these permanent markers are perfect to correct small mistakes on the cards. And they are also really, really nice to paint the inside of the border of the card, because that's very important. You need to paint the inside of this card border, because these will, when you put them on top of each other, shine through, and then you have at the left, right, up and down of the picture really bad looking lines that you don't want to have. Next, that's completely optional, but I like to have acrylic varnish. It gives the card a very glossy design. I really like to use that on the very lowest layer, that's for the very far background of the card. It makes it very shiny and very high quality looking. And last but not least, you need one of these, a pressure tool. They are used mainly to make designs into stuff like nails, and they have these little orbs at the very end of them, and you need them to lower cutting edges of your card to get the card nice and even at the border. You like follow the rim of the card and get the sharp edges that are left by your knife a little bit flat, so they don't stand out at the end result. So that's all you need basically. And with all of this design, with all of these things, you can basically already start your card design. What you're doing next is you take all of your monster cards that you want and you choose one as the lowest layer. What you do then is paint the entire Pokemon with the acrylic color, so it's just a black shadow. And it's important to do that, at least in my opinion, because if you stack the cards on top of each other later, you have this lowest of the lowest layers, which is basically a shadow for the Pokemon that you actually have in the very foreground. So paint all of this black, and then you start cutting out all the different parts of the Pokemon. Basically, anybody who worked with Photoshop before, you know that there are layers, and the farther up the layer is, the more in front of everything the layer becomes in the end result. It's basically the exact same in designing a card like this. What I would do when I would cut out this Pokemon here, I would start with cutting out the entire thing for the lowest layer, then cutting out only the wings for the layer above that, and then above the wings I would put the green body, and even before the green body it's that half apple that he's in. So you have a three-dimensional Pokemon motif on different layers, coming more and more towards the viewer. So that's basically all there is. And between every layer, depending on how deep you actually want the 3D effect to be in the end, you put these trash cards that you colored in black acrylic paint. So you have the background, then you put 3 of these, then you put the first Pokemon design, bam, and then you put another 2 of these, and then you put the wings, and then you put another 1 of these. Like basically just how you feel like it would look the best in the end result. You have to experiment a lot with that, but after a little bit of testing, you can also do stuff like I did here. As I said before, I don't see myself as like somebody who knows what he's really talking about that much, because I only do it for like 2 weeks, but I feel like for only being added for 2 weeks, this is already looking extremely nice. Like, I am proud of myself for actually doing this. It doesn't feel like wasted time. So, you don't actually need to test this stuff for so long. It doesn't take that long to actually make really cool designs after a few tests. I made like 3 or 4 test cards before this one, and this is basically my newest one. So I hope this was at least a little bit helpful. Sorry that I have problems finding words so much today. I don't know what's wrong with me. So, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I hope you liked the video. I'm Fuko. If you would like to see more stuff like this, tell me in the comments. And yeah, that was it. Goodbye.